Hello. Welcome to another Book Bandit video. Enjoy. Sometimes when I'm sourcing at a thrift store or a book sale, I am not paying close enough attention to the condition of the books. In general, I'm checking them to make sure they don't have torn covers, too much highlighting, torn pages, or writing inside, anything like that, anything obvious. I flip through them quickly. But sometimes I miss something that I've had happen a few times lately, and that's the spine or the binding of each book. So even though I flip through them, sometimes I don't notice that a page is actually not attached, not glued to the binding, and it's coming out. I had this happen over the last week. I had it happen a couple times, not twice, maybe three times in the past few weeks, which isn't that much, but it does happen, and it just came to my attention that it's important I'm thinking about myself, but if you're out there sourcing on a regular basis, to just check the binding. Here's an example of one, The Devil in the White City, a really popular book. It's actually, in terms of everything else, the book is in very good condition, possibly good, but definitely could be very good. But one thing, if you notice here, there's a few pages, which I didn't notice, that are sticking out, and they come right on out. And that is definitely not something that you want to send into Amazon and have somebody buy. Even in acceptable condition, I would not sell this. And I don't recommend you do that either. Would you want to get a book that has pages that are literally coming out, even though everything else is perfect or very good? There's no writing, there's no highlighting, there's no tears, there's no major wear to the cover, but a handful of pages are coming out, and that's just not going to cut it. So check your books for pages coming out. Here's another one. Things we couldn't say. This hardback, and I didn't notice that, if you can see it here, I didn't notice that there were some pages coming out here in the middle as well. Seems to be that the pages in the middle are more common to come apart. So if I wanted to read this book, I could just keep it for myself, but it's not one that I want to read. And another thing, aside from pages coming out, is the binding. The entire, all of the pages basically coming loose from the binding, or the spine. So here's one, an introduction to 4 major works, Masters of Social Theory. Okay, so this one, otherwise it's pretty, it's a good shape. This one down here, you can see down here that it's coming apart right there at the spine in the front and I believe in the back. Yeah, front and the back. Okay, I'm back with Mr. Happy Pants. He just woke up from a nap. So yeah, so this was an example of one where the binding is coming, the spine is coming off of the pages basically. The glues come off or whatever, for whatever reason. So I noticed that. I didn't notice that when I bought the book, but I noticed it when I was going to list it. So that's not going to fly either. Should not send in books where pages are coming out, where the binding is not tight or coming apart in any way, because it's really just no longer a book at that point. So definitely don't send those in. So yeah, I'm going to be more careful about that, just to make sure. Check the binding real quick. Make sure there's no pages coming out. Sometimes though, you just miss it. If you're going through hundreds of books, if you're scanning hundreds of books and you're there for a few hours, sometimes you're going to miss one or two. But the good thing about it is that if you do miss one or two or one or whatever in one sourcing outing, you're not out very much money. It could be anywhere from 50 cents to $1, even less on average, for me anyway. So not a big deal, and the rest of the books that I got will more than cover being out the buck or so for that one book. Let me know in the comments if you've had something similar happen, or if it happens very often, or if it's something that you just don't notice because you're maybe not paying as close enough attention as you should be. Now remember, Keep booking.